Hello, I'd like to explain to you some of the things which we have at the History Shop. We specialize in antique maps. And interestingly enough, one of the most asked questions we have when people come into the shop is they will look at the map and say, "Is that real?" And so what I have done is put together a little sheet here. And if you would like to have one of these, just let us know and we'll mail it to you, because it gives you the points of what to look for when you're selecting an antique map to find out if they are real. For example, this is a beautiful map by Phelps, and it was put together to go into this little pocket folder here. But it also has the cartouches going around of the presidents of the United States. Now, this is a map by Ortelius. It's of England in the 1585, and it is a beautiful map because it has the excellent cartouches which depict the scenes of what the people wore during that period, what kind of battles they had, what the ships looked like. And it's done on the antique paper, which is the old heavy cotton paper, and you can always tell it's for real because you can see the plate mark that is on it. And if there's any foxing is an item that appears on this antique paper that because moisture got into some possibly metal that was very small amount that was accidentally caught in the old cotton paper. And over the years, humidity will rust that and cause what they call a spot that should appear both on the front and the back in the same location. So that's another way you can tell if it's a real map or a reproduction, because the spot on the back has to be in the same spot as it is on the front. Otherwise, somebody has copied it. These are hand-colored maps. Now, by hand-colored, back in the 1500s, they used a different kind of pigment. They had rose petals, things like this. We got beautiful colors out of them, and they've held up over all these years. Later on, and when we get up into the 1800s, particularly in Philadelphia, they did the outline coloring, and that's what Phelps did with this map. Now here we have a map that is from the inhabited part of New England in 1775. It too is on the old heavy cotton paper. That's why it's held up over all these years. But you see a few foxing spots on here, which also the plate mark goes all the way around. That's where, when it was printed on the press came over and pressed one side against the other, creating the plate mark. The nice thing about this map, it's got a very nice cartouche of a trading or bartering system that the early colonists are doing with the Indians, and I'm not sure if that's an animal or a fish that they're discussing, but I guess everybody can have their own opinion of that. You see the hand coloring that was done, and the nice thing about this map is it has the old names that were used during this period of the 1700s. Now, on this, answering the question of are these real, you'll note that the thickness and the coarseness of the paper in these older ones. That's another thing that I have listed here. the foxing, which we've already talked about, and sometimes the paper you'll be able to hold it up to light and there'll be a watermark. And also the type of the printing procedure that's on there. That's another way of dating how old a map is. And then you have the hand coloring procedures that they use, and you can see it's a heavy outline. And by the way, there's no code or anything as to colors, because I think these ladies that you probably did most of this just would start with one color and just make sure they didn't put the same color right next to the one they had just finished. So the hand coloring, you can tell because they miss spots here by hand. Whereas if it's a lithographed one, and normally after about 1875, most of them are lithographed. And you also have the question of dating a map. That's usually a bit difficult because sometimes they don't even put the cartologist's name on there. But there's usually clues as to finding them. And so being able to date a map, you can tell by the clothes that some of the people were wearing in the cartouche. You can tell by the names of locations of some of the cities that they would have. So there's a number of clues that can let you identify the approximate ages of the map, and also how it was constructed as to whether it's real or a reproduction. So if you would like to have a little guideline like this, you're out wandering around some Saturday afternoon and you go into an antique store, this will give you some guidelines of how to determine if it's an authentic antique map.